Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are continuing forward on the best of 7 between Soma here in the bottom left and Royal here in the top right. Tied up 1-1 right now, so we're kind of entering like a best of 5-ish looking match. Pretty good games so far. Kind of almost abrupt endings, I guess, to both of them. The thing is, when you're playing each other at this level, you really... an ASL champion and a guy that has been so close multiple times, when it's pointless against each other, right? So sometimes it's just time to hang it up and go on to the next one. In a best of 7, you have plenty of wiggle room to come back. Best of 7 is a real, you always get the best player winning a best of 7, I feel like. Best of 5, almost always. Best of 3, most of the time. Best of 1. Man, who knows? Crazy things can happen in best of 1. Really some randomness can be added in there. Anyways, we'll definitely see who's in better shape right now for this matchup, at least against each other. Now, this is a 9 pool, but it is cross spawn and there is a wall going up. Unless this is a command center first, which it's not. Yeah, not going to be looking too hot here for Soma, unfortunately. The 9 pool is really unlikely to get any sort of damage done. So we'll see how he kind of transitions out of that. There are some macro 9 pool openers. There's a 9 pool opener where you go 9 pool, no gas. Well, obviously you're going to make the expansion for the gas, or that just becomes pretty much all in. But what I'm talking about here is you go 9 pool, expansion, the Lings come out, you push SCV back, you threaten the front. And then you go third base. Not necessarily here. This is probably the least likely place. Normally on those builds, it would be somewhere like here or down in here. Like a ramped expansion so that Sunkens can help hold it a little bit better. So that's a pretty common thing to do with 9 pools. 9 pool can turn it from a build where it's oh, I'm really kind of looking for some damage into, a build where it's I'm looking to be greedy. Now, this looks like he's doing a more damage-esque follow-up. The extractor is already on the way. So the 9 pool coming up, and then... Ooh, this is... Yeah, okay, the Marine actually turns back around. As he saw the hatchery health, he knows that it's a pool, so he's just got to bring SCVs down. This drone going to come up and try... No, actually, I thought it might try to attack the Marine or something there. But yeah, all the timings are just barely not working here for Soma, unfortunately. Ooh. Yeah, bring this guy back. And that is going to be a hold right there. So yeah, Soma has already kind of lined this up to be more aggressive in this game. The 9 pull tried to pressure, but this can happen when you have a wall. You wall up, you see it coming, and you can do something like this, and it's you don't even have to build a bunker, and as you get enough Marines, you just pull your SCVs back to mine, and it's you're just really well ahead at that point. But he'll still have a very quick lair, probably very quick mutas. Some people do like to go into lurker or something in this type of situation. You feel like you're a little bit behind. They have a wall in. Maybe you can blow it up with the lurkers and gain a bit more value. The thing is, if Terran figures out that you're doing something like that at high levels, it's not going to pay off very well. Now, okay, SCV gets taken out. That was actually a really good snipe, so he doesn't see exactly what's going on in the main base. Although, if I'm him, most Terrans will look at that and just say, okay, yeah, it's very, very likely. Oops, very, very likely that is just going to be a layer that's pretty quick. Now, Academy as well as eBay coming up very quickly here as well. Looks like he does want to follow up with just the +1 attack. I'm kind of surprised with that. I don't really like that after a 9 pool as much. Overlord getting into position. Good spread of Lings around the map. If we zoom out, you can kind of see that Soma's got a ton of vision here. Overlord down here. Lings, Ling in the center. Ling here. Very few paths you could go on to get around. In fact, right now, I would say basically none. He will see you coming across the map. So very, very good defensive stance there. Making sure that he can see anything coming across from a Royal. Third hatch in the main base. Okay. Doesn't want to take that risk of another mining location before he gets his drone count actually into something that can afford things like sunken colonies. Comsat, only one on the way right now. Trying to continually produce. And that scan should go here. That's where you're going to assume the tech is at the moment, because his SCV got down into this area. Like, yeah. And there it is. He scans. He sees the timing of the Spire. That's the really important thing. And he actually saw the hatchery as well. He scanned just slightly off center. On this position, that looks good because you're going to see like these pixels here. Because this is the only other place a Spire could be. It's actually a pretty common place for a Spire. And then also it gives you a little bit further to the edge. I will be honest, I like the Zerg players that put this hatchery like up over here. Now, that being said, if it happened to be like a siege tank push, maybe that could be punished. I've never seen that happen ever, but maybe someone's thinking something like that. But I do, you know, we do have some Zergs, and I'm kind of blanking on who does it. Is it True that always puts it way to the side? There is a Zerg that I cast sometimes that likes to put the hatch like way to the side. I'm trying to remember. It'll come back to me, I think. But yeah, I really do like it when Zergs choose to truly actively hide where that third hatchery is in their main base. Okay. Additional missile turrets coming up. Really well-placed missile turrets here. This has become my favorite, the way he set this up here. Really, really superb. They all cover each other very well. It used to be you'd have a group up here and a group down here, but this kind of like connected group is, I think, way better. It slows mining a little bit, but overall the damage spread onto the mutas is really good, and it feels like you have to get less turrets. Yeah, so 3 racks are up. He should be starting his factory pretty darn soon here. Looking over at Soma's side. That is a very fast +1 carapace. Not the fastest, but that is very fast. This could turn into Crazy Zerg. I would say that this is either Crazy Zerg or this is going to be a mass lurker switch. And a mass lurker switch would be like when the lurkers are just about ready, you dive in, try to bring the Marines back, and then bring your lurkers up to the front. We'll see what it's going to be here shortly. As the mutas right now trying to find a good position to harass from. Not bad, they're in the top right. But well-placed turrets do slow that down a bit. A huge... Okay, this is Crazy Zerg. You would just not make this kind of sunken count without that. And he does go up to 5. I actually heard something. You know, I was at the StarCon LAN just a couple days ago now. And who was it? Someone told me, I think it might have been Urbmon, that the way that he chooses sunken counts is medics +1. Because if you have the same amount as the medics can kind of heal through it in a way. And you get more, like, you get net damage by having +1. I don't know if that's the way that pros look at it or not. Yeah, but I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to share with you guys. Like, that, I mean, he's a very good Zerg, so maybe take that as an idea next time you're playing your Zerg vs. Terran games. Now, and by the way, medic counts are generally, unless something weird happens to the army, they're generally the same amongst all Terrans. It's like 12 Marines want 3 medics. 2 is the minimum there, and then like 5 for like 24. It's like normal. Anyways, the medics get picked off there by those mutas. Going to continue to fly around. The factory was very, very late this game, but it was a weird 9-pool opener, so we can kind of forgive a slightly later factory time. Hive is on the way, as well as that +1 carapace almost finished. Very smart to have a Marine up here. Very smart to have a Marine down here. And, in fact, there's a drone here. So, I think the drone went up and maybe saw the Marine, and now he's going to come down and maybe clean that out. Because you do need a third gas. Okay, we just heard some scans. Oops. Okay, he's mostly scanning the natural there. You know, when you see this many sunkens, you kind of assume it's Crazy Zerg because you would already have lurkers if it wasn't. And that's what Crazy Zerg is no lurkers. That's why it's crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, how can you hold? That's crazy. Yeah, back when I was naming it, you know, back in the early 2000s. Yeah. Anyways, the mutas coming up for another little harass run. Yeah, picking off a few units here and there. He's being annoying, which is important. Really superb turret placement. One of the better turret layouts I've ever seen right here. Truly. That looks fantastic. Like, how do mutas actually harass this? Not very well, I think. His +1 armor is almost done. You know, when you have 1-1, you can crack a lot of Sunkens with a big Marine Medic Ball, but there's actually quite a few Lings and a decent amount of mutas left over, so I don't know that that's actually an option. Adrenal on the way, a second Evolution Chamber, and there's the Ultralisk Cavern. Bottom right is being taken. Single Marine attacking into it. Now, how do you decide how to play this? He's ready for counterattacks, and he's got a lot of Sunks. So there's like multiple options. Normally it's like kind of one or the other. It's like, are we going to do counterattacks or are we going to have a lot of Sunks? In this case, Soma's kind of doing both, where his main is mostly safe. And if he doesn't feel like he can actually beat the army, he can actually run in with all these units. You know, he's almost at Adrenal. He has +1 armor, so he'll do pretty well. Like he would be able to bust through this stuff pretty quickly and might force some of this to turn around. Now he's actually bringing his Lings up. I don't think, no. Soma's army can't beat Royal's army here. Cannot. And in fact, he's already canceled this base out. So that shows you how little faith he has in it. Looks like he did expand over here to his natural third, which is quite unnatural for Zerg versus Terran. This base is a bit too open. When Zerg takes this, it's actually tricky, and Terran sometimes doesn't find it for a long time because it's very attackable. All right, another couple racks coming up. In fact, even another one. This is, I actually mentioned this, was it in the last game or the game before? Where, yeah, the game before game 1, I was talking about how, like, the actual supply of the Terran isn't as important against Defiler-based tech, but against Ultras it is. Getting a ton of barracks is incredibly important because it's about hitting a critical mass of Marine Medic. Now, he does have 2-1 on the way. The +2 attack is behind the +2 carapace. So that's very good for the crazy Zerg player. So let's see the actual measurement because the production tab doesn't do a good job. So there's that, and there's that. So we actually have a pretty big window of like a minute where the Ultra army, if it's in the right amount, will crush the Marine Medic army. It is incredibly important to be on par with upgrades unless you want to get crushed. From either side, you'd be surprised. Ultras pop too if the Marines have 1 additional attack upgrade. I don't know how they made this game that it works that many years ago, and it's still working, and we have parity like that. It's, like, kind of insane. Anyways, a lot of Sunkens going up there. Speed on the way. He really needs to start that +3 carapace. Yeah, gets that going immediately. Very, very important to keep that advantage. The Ultralisk count is getting really reasonable right now. And what we're going to see pretty shortly here is Ultralisk speed finish, the plus melee attack finish. Soma will have all his units on the map, and he'll double expand. That is the normal thing that we'll see from Crazy Zerg. Because you double expand, and it's like, okay, you could lose one. And in fact, Terran moving out incorrectly, you might just surround the army and kill it. But then you'll get one up. And already 3 gas Crazy Zerg is pretty strong. 4 gas is when it's like, oh, how do you stop that? It's crazy. Zerg. Okay, a huge Marine Medic army going down. Now, notice it's in kind of a line. Sometimes you'll have Zerg run in from the side to engage because the Marines are not in a ball. The more of a ball that they're in, the harder it is for the Ultras to do their job. Now, chasing him down, he doesn't actually have any Scourge down here, which is a little bit of a mistake. Generally, you do want some Scourge there to prevent exactly this from happening. If you have Zerg there, they just can't run up and do that at all. Okay, and here we go. It's time. Royal going for the attack right now. Coming in from the side. Now, he's busting the Sunkens very easily, but the Ultras coming in from the back are doing a very good job. This Ultra, notice how he pulls it away from the Lings. Really, really important there. Does he actually have enough? If he had like 3 more Ultras in the front, I think he crushes. And in fact, you know what? I think he's going to beat it anyways. The medics are in the way. Notice how he's microing the medics to stand in front of the Ultras. This is really reducing the damage output of those Ultras. He did a really good job of that, but still just too many. Damn. That was a lot of Ultras and just deleted that army. The Sunkens bought him just enough time to get that done. Few more irradiates coming up, but the small amount of Marines coming out is a problem. He needs these to get down there immediately. Would really like to see those stem forward because these Ultras are getting low. Like, he's going to be able to pop them with these Marines. But the quicker you have more of them together, the less you're going to lose. Yeah, and just didn't quite have them in that line. Another group coming up. Another expansion, another expansion. There's that double expand I was talking about. We're right at borderline unwinnable for Royal right now. He still has just enough that he can play this, but his options are a little bit slim. So he's got to replace a lot of medics. Yeah, he's making a ton of medics right now. And he's going to have one more big move out. And I think he can't do anything till +3, because +3 carapace is almost done for ultras. But if you sit and wait for +3, these bases are... Notice how he's getting gas right away. These bases are already going to be feeding gas to Soma, and he's going to have even more ultras. So it's one of these... It's a dilemma, is what it is. Do you attack now when you're going to have -1 upgrade, or do you attack later when he's going to have additional ultras from the expansions? Look at how quickly he's getting drones on the gas. Like, he's sending them way ahead of time to make sure he's getting that gas income to up that Ultralisk count. There's no correct choice here. I really don't know which one is correct. I see the whole map. Well, the thing is, there isn't correct. They're both bad choices, but he's got to do one of them. Oh, I mean, bleeding in right now. This is a timing from the ultras because he knows he's up and upgrade again. But he doesn't have that many units. Now, he kills all the vessels, so that was definitely worth it. That was definitely worth it. I think he just brought these in because the attack priority on ultras is so much higher than on Scourge. Vessels are actually very hard to use against Crazy Zerg because of that. Because ultras just run it at the same time, and it takes the Marines so long to kill them. So you have to individually target every Scourge, which is very hard to do. 7 more ultras on the way. He's mining from 5 gases right now. None of them depleted. A few more Sunkens look like they're going to go down. It is a pretty big Marine army coming. The medics are... Are you serious? The medics got aggroed. Well, it's not exactly aggroed, but something got damaged back there, and so we have 10 medics that are trailing far behind the units they're supposed to heal, and 1 good girl medic right there. Okay, where are the ultras? Here's the Lings. Here's a group of ultras. This is the last chance of Royal. He's got his +3. This is just to slow him. The 3 Sunkens don't do much but hold him still. The ultras come in, but a lot of them are missing, as you can see. If he attacks with all those at once, the outcome will be a lot better than what we're looking at right now. Oh, the medic wall is insanity right now. Look at this. The ultras just cannot attack into there. Very, very good micro, but so much health on these ultras, so much armor on these ultras that they're still going to do okay. The Irradiate, probably not the right choice. That's actually a buff right now for Soma. And that's going to be game. That is going to be game right there. There is no chance of comeback at this point. He's floated his main command center down. Not able to mine from that. GG is called. And Soma takes the lead with Crazy Zerg 2-1.